offensive.
I'm ready to tell the judge to go himself.
Obnoxious.
The sexual revolution may have started with Fannie Hill, but it's going to damn well end with Hustler magazine.
Outrageous.
People accuse me of hiding behind the First Amendment. I'm exercising it.
These are just some of the adjectives that come to mind when describing Larry Flynt and the magazine he began publishing 40 years ago. But now, how about obsolete?
How high was the circulation for Hustler at the very top?
3 million circulation.
And now?
Now, about 100,000.
From 3 million to 100,000?
Yeah.
Today, with the internet, anybody can be a pornographer. Technology, it seems, has accomplished what religious leaders and prosecutors never could: the demise of Hustler magazine.
Would it be very difficult for you, since you made your name on Hustler magazine, to have to shutter it, to actually stop publishing it?
I treat Hustler the same way as I would if it was a jar of peanut butter or a can of green beans. You know, it's a product. And when you're not making money, you've got to move on.
Moving on means a new gamble. 14 years ago, Flynt opened this card game casino in Gardena, California.
Had I known the casinos would be as lucrative as they were, I would have gotten into them long before I did. But they're very profitable.
Oh, it's been profitable, all right. Flynt Productions is a privately held company, so records aren't public. But Flynt claims to be worth $500 million. And he's not turning his back on the business that made him infamous. He plans to have a virtual version of Hustler online in a month. Flynt also produces adult videos and runs retail stores which sell, well, you get the picture. The man once accused of exploiting women is now catering to them.
25, 30 years ago, pornography was a men's business. People that shopped in sex shops before were male, not female. Women are getting in the game now.
At 71 years old, Larry Flynt's speech is less steady. He is no longer the bombastic, defiant defendant portrayed by Woody Harrelson in the 1996 film, The People vs. Larry Flynt.
I have fashioned this American flag into a diaper because if you're going to treat me like a baby, I'm going to act like one.
During the 1970s and 80s, when prosecutors repeatedly dragged him into court, he turned trials into media events.
Larry, how are you bringing the money today?
I've got some porn stars and hookers bringing it in.
What do you think when you look back at that side of you?
Would I do all that stuff over again? Of course not.
You would?
But I'm glad I did it. Hell yes.
Many times people ask me if I thought that the founding fathers had Hustler magazine in mind, you know, when they drafted the Constitution. No, I don't think they did. But they did have that unrestricted right of free choice in mind.
Through it all, Flynt, who has an 8th grade education, became an unlikely champion of the Constitution.
My whole fight has always been for the First Amendment. I've never given a damn about money all along.
No one understands that the First Amendment is only important if you're going to offend somebody. If you're not going to offend somebody, you don't need protection of the First Amendment.
But you became a First Amendment expert, not because you believe in the Constitution. You were trying to save your business, right?
Well, I have been accused of hiding behind the First Amendment. I'm just thankful it's there to hide behind. That's what it's for.
A major decision by the U.S. Supreme Court today in the so-called case of the preacher versus the pornographer.
Flynt's most significant legal victory came in 1988. Reverend Jerry Falwell, the televangelist and founder of the Moral Majority, sued after Flynt parodied him in Hustler. The case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In a unanimous decision, the justices called the work political satire and ruled in Flynt's favor. The fact that society may find speech offensive, wrote Chief Justice William Rehnquist, is not a sufficient reason for suppressing it.
Do you ever sometimes think, what's the social benefit of offensive pictures or offensive speech?
You pay a price for everything. And the price you pay to live in a free society is toleration. You have to tolerate things that you don't necessarily like so you can be free. I have to tolerate Fox News, including that Archie Bunker, Bill Riley over there, you know.
Flynt himself paid a big price for the right to offend. On March 6, 1978, while on trial in Georgia for obscenity, he was shot outside the courthouse. He never walked again.
It changed my life, but, you know, I've never been a person to dwell on things that I can't change.
Joseph Paul Franklin, a violent career criminal, was never charged, but later claimed responsibility for the shooting, reportedly saying that he took offense at a picture of an interracial couple that appeared in Hustler magazine.
Do you wish you hadn't been in this business? Because you probably wouldn't have gotten shot if you had been in a different business.
Well, I don't think about that, you know. I think women are smarter than men.
Flynt works out of a Beverly Hills office filled with genuine Tiffany lamps and Old Masters reproductions. Nearly half of his management team are women, including his fifth wife, Liz, who heads up the talent department, meaning she selects the women who appear in Hustler. And there's his daughter, Teresa, the only one of his 5 children who works for him.
Is there ever anything he's done that you said, oh, don't do that, Dad? Don't do this?
When he offered Casey Anthony money to pose for the magazine.
Teresa Flynt says she didn't want to enrich the young Florida woman charged with killing her daughter.
And you tried to talk him out of it.
A lot of us said that was ridiculous.
That's right. She says, Dad, is there anything you won't do? I said, Teresa, the bar is pretty low.
By the way, Casey Anthony turned down the $500,000 offer. In recent years, Flynt has made amends with many former foes. In fact, before Reverend Falwell's death in 2007, the two men became friends and even appeared publicly together. And last fall, Flynt, who wants the death penalty abolished, shocked some people when he fought to halt the execution of a man in Missouri, Joseph Paul Franklin. Yes, the same man who said he shot Flynt 35 years ago. Franklin, on death row for an unrelated murder, was put to death in November.
We get so caught up in the emotion of the death penalty that we can't understand as human beings that what we're doing is wrong and we don't have the right to be killing other people, not sanctioned by the state anyway.
You can call Flynt outspoken, outrageous, even obnoxious. He's fine with that. Just not ordinary.
The last thing in the world that I want to be legitimate. You know, all my fans would desert me, you know. You need to get people's attention, and I'm pretty good at that.